Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. It's Monday, some day in October. What's happening? Everything is cool, I believe. So today I wanted to share a little bit about what's happened in the last 10-15 days of my journey. And I suppose it's to give you some faith and some confidence in what you're feeling and how we overcome our fears, and when we simply do things in the name of love, and whatever those things are, we just do them. And some of you may know that I recently went to Moscow, and most of you know that my counterpart is living in Moscow. So I decided to present myself in Moscow and just to see what happened. There were no plans, nothing was planned, nothing was coordinated except one evening with a very good friend of mine, which was pre-arranged. But other events just was flying by the seat of my pants. And the whole journey was awash with doing things differently, doing things on a very, very low budget, and just believing that everything is okay and everything transpires to be okay. And there were many, many triggers, and they began very early on the journey to getting to Moscow, which was missing the train. You know, it was a movie scene, running to catch the train, and the train is leaving the platform, and then having to call my friends to drive me 130 kilometers so that we could connect with that train and get me to the airport. So I had to go planes, trains and automobiles, which is very unusual because normally I would just fly directly, and this time it was around the houses. But what it did do was connect me with places where I had been and have been with my counterpart and my family and friends. So places like Zagreb, Maribor, Vienna. Arriving in Moscow, I booked into a hostel. No idea, I have a good idea where it is because it was around the place where I used to work. And I send a message to say I've arrived. Oh, you need to go to another address. And I'm thinking, okay, so this is another test. How do I have to simply surrender to everything that's happening and not have any fear and not have any stress. And eventually I got to the place where I was staying, and it was not as advertised, but it was a place to stay. And if you can imagine an apartment with 4 small rooms and a shared bathroom and a microwave there's your kitchen, and there's a front door with codes and thick steel barriers to get through. It was quite a picture. And to stay calm and in the moment is very testing. And so I rested for the night, and the next morning I woke up and I wondered where I was. It was raining outside, and I thought, okay, so what am I going to do today? And I just did nothing. I decided to wake up and go out and have a walk around, and then I was walking to the metro station, got the metro, found myself on the metro line to the district of my counterpart, walked around wondering what I was doing, and no thoughts, really, no thoughts. It was just literally flowing, going with the flow. And there were no barriers, I shouldn't be here or I should be here. There was just basically following my own compass, my own heart and my own guidance. And walking around and getting to the place, and it's pouring down with rain. And I get literally to the apartment block, and I'm saying, okay, do I really want to knock this door? Do I need to gain permission to enter this building? And I didn't feel anything, and then I just took this as a sign, okay, I'll send a message. And I sent a message, a text message or SMS, and then proceeded back to a viewing point, I suppose you could say, across the road. And 10 minutes I said, no, okay, I'm going to walk back to where I just come from to my hotel or hostel and chill out for the afternoon. There was no reply. And all of a sudden the sky cleared. A little rays of sunshine came shining down, and I looked up at her apartment, and there's a beam of sunshine shining on her apartment. And I just laughed, and I said, I can't recreate this. I can't make this up. There was a billboard literally 25 yards away, 25 meters away, that said Romeo and Juliet. So you see, following the signs I was doing. When the sun stopped shining, I said, okay, my job here is done, and I started to walk back to the metro station to take the train back to my hotel. And I received a reply. And that was something in its own, because it's the first reply I've had in 6 months. Whether it was because it was out of courtesy or what, I don't know, and I don't want to go into it, but the underlying message was, no, I don't want to see you, and please leave the past in the past and live in peace. And I was quite cool with that, because I am at peace, and the past is what makes us. It's not something we should leave. We take it with us, what serves us, and it forms part of who we are. So the past needs to be dealt with in one way or another. And I continued my day. I went for dinner with my friend in the evening, and it was like revisiting something a year ago, where I had said a few things, and those few things had materialized into reality. And this is all for other people to deal with, but it's something that I sensed a year ago, having connected with these people, and it's still very real today. So the next day I woke up, was told it was going to be a sunny day. It was a sunny day, and I said, okay, I'm going to go to the 13th Earth Chakra, Sergiev Posad. I looked on my phone, how do I get there? I have to take a train to this train station, then another train to this train station, and So it was an adventure. And off I went, knowing the metro underground system in Russia, in Moscow, is quite simple. Got off the train station, walking around the train station, find the ticket office, because some words were in English. Ticket office was in English. I queued for 20 minutes. Can I have a ticket to Sergiev Posad? No understanding of what I was saying. So I just said, okay, no problem, and walked away. And I just thought to myself, okay, am I meant to go to this place? Am I meant to be here? There must be a way that I can get to where I'm going. So I tried to find all of these ticket machines, because they do have ticket machines which are bilingual. And I tried one and it didn't work, and I tried another, and I realized that I was getting nowhere. So I decided to leave the station, and as I was leaving the station, there was another ticket office for another part of the railway, which was called the suburban train. So I went there and I said, can I have a ticket for Sergiev Posad? They said yes. And we communicated in a way that we understood each other. And I looked at the ticket at the time. The train was 12:27, and I looked at the train departure times, and I figured it out how to get there. I got onto the train, and it was like walking back in history. Literally, the train was benches with backs, and it was quite surreal. And train begins to fill up, and I get to the destination, and I arrive at the destination, Sergiev Posad, and it's beautifully sunny, and there are hundreds of cops. And I'm thinking to myself, well, this is supposed to be a spiritual place. Why are there all these cops? I just followed the crowd, went through all of these detectors, got inside, started taking pictures, and there were thousands and thousands of people. And I didn't really figure it out why. And then all of a sudden I saw this fleet of, you can only say, well-protected cars, blue and red lights and aerials and antennas on top of them. You know that there's somebody special inside. And this guy was walking past me, and I was taking a picture, and he said, oh, our president is arriving. I said, who, Putin? Yeah, Putin is coming. I said, okay, so I'm in the right place. And I carried on walking around, and I saw all of these funny guys with their big beards and strange hats and different coloured robes, and I guess that they were Orthodox bishops and priests and all of this stuff, and all of these funny coloured robes. And I decided to set myself in front of a big set of doors where all of these religious suits were hanging around. And 45 minutes later, other people were just gathering, and I saw this helicopter flying. And it was Putin's helicopter. I thought, so he must be coming, so I'm in the right place at the right time. And another half an hour goes by, and this fleet of cars turns up again, and heavy security guards, FSB with all of their funny antennas in their ears and all of this stuff, and I'm just taking pictures. And I don't know who the patriarch is. Some guy with a white hat on and some white robes, and he was the head of the Orthodox Church. And I was literally within 10 feet of his presence. You know, if I'd reached out any further, I'm sure the FSB agent that was staring at me would have jumped on me from a great height. So it was coming and going. This patriarch went in and came out, and then I left the place, and I thought to myself, so what did I just experience? I came into close proximity of one of the most powerful religious figures in the world, one of the most powerful political figures in the world, as an accident, and I'm an accidental tourist. What did I take away from it? I was humbled by the experience, because I was at the 13th Earth Chakra, which also is the head of the Russian Orthodox Church, and my presence of light and love was shared with that group, that audience that was there. So I get back to my hotel after a couple of hours, and I send a message to my friend with a picture, and he says, oh, there's nothing on the news about this. I said, okay, there's nothing. I was there, you know. It doesn't need to be on the news. Why would Putin and the patriarch be on the news about visiting this special place? But I suppose it would have been normal news in Russia. And the next day, the Monday, I was leaving, and I was preparing myself for a really long journey home. And the signs and the synchronicities about my counterpart were there all over the place, and I just really shut them out. And I said, okay, I came here with an open heart. I overcame all of the normal fears of a human being, and I came to a place purely by following my heart and by following the signs, the intuition, the guidance. I remained calm at all times, and I know that a few of the soul sisters that I spoke to, how can you stay so cool, and how can you stay so collected, how can you stay so balanced? And I believe what that is it's the self-mastery, and it is this ability to allow things just to come in and go out. The information that's needed is retained. That's not what is not required is released. And I also wondered why I wasn't so emotional, or why I wasn't upset or disappointed, but the answer to that was I never had any expectations. I just followed my gut, I followed my heart, I followed my soul. I didn't follow my mind. And as I was leaving, I didn't have any sense of sadness. I didn't have any sense. I felt full and accomplished. I had achieved what I needed to achieve for this visit. And as I was arriving in Vienna airport, I had this sense, and it's a sense that I haven't felt in a very, very long time. And it was a very strong sense of sadness, and it was a very, very strong sadness coming from my counterpart and or my soul son. And I can only describe it as a feeling of like a wafting. It's like when you waft a flower, the scent wafts under your nose, and you just capture, and then all of a sudden it goes. And that's what it felt like. It felt like this sadness coming from her and her son, and it came and it just filtered back out again. And as I arrived, you know, when you've travelled to two places in one day and you see synchronicities between the two, the journey just keeps going. And the continuation of this journey is what's important, because it is a journey. That chapter of my life in Russia isn't over. That chapter of my life is still being lived, because it's part of a journey. And no matter what our counterparts say or do or how they act in this reality, it's theirs. How we act and how we respond and how we are is ours. It's our truth. And the maturity, spiritual maturity and mental maturity is the ability to keep everything together without having any worries in the world. And what will be, will be. The signs and syncs have still continued, the dreams have still continued, so I know that the connection is real. But for me it was also some form of closure. I went to see something, I experienced something more than what I could possibly have imagined. And I came away feeling not a conqueror and not defeated. I felt accomplished. I followed my heart and soul. I followed the love that I am. And if somebody else can't see that, this is theirs. This is their issue. And it's something that we do have to live with. It's something that we do have to accept. It's something that we do have to embrace. And if we embrace and accept all of these things in love, there can be no low vibration. Because we're living from a place of love. We're living from our heart center. And as we continue on our journeys through life, the signs and synchronicities will still be there. The connection will still be there. And we will just live. We will live. We will fulfill our own personal lifetime ambitions, our calling, and our desires. And love is all around us. And we will have relationships with others if they're meant to be. We will be solo if it's meant to be. Again, there's no set path for where we're going. There's no rule book, there are no guides, there are just us. In closing, what I want to share with you is, if you truly believe in something to be true, the only way that you can demonstrate it to yourself is by living it, fulfilling it, by stepping out of the box and by being outside of the box and doing things that are for the right reasons. And if you feel inclined to go and see, make contact, or do any of these things, this is not chasing, this is being who you are. This is your true soul essence. And if you send a message or go to visit like I have and nothing comes back, sometimes that's the best thing, because that allows you to continue on your journey of purification, ascension, of bringing this focus back to completion, of oneness, of wholeness. Because we are whole, with or without our counterpart, we're whole. We were whole before. Now we're whole in a completely new, different way, because we've seen, felt, experienced, and lived love unconditionally. Now that's a whole new paradigm in its own way, and that is the beginning of complete change and transformation in the way that people live their lives and the way that people have their relationships. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for Alexandra and Ilya sitting in Moscow. I'm grateful that there are these barriers and there are these fears associated with that connection. But I'm also grateful that I have been able to step beyond and step outside of this traditional box of fear to follow my heart. And one thing that was guiding me all the way was my inner teenager and my inner child. And it was reminding me, you never had problems doing this when you were younger. You never worried about these things when you were younger. You were just following your heart and soul. So that's the essence of this video really, is to believe, A, in who you are, B, in all that you are, and C, follow your heart, no matter the outcome, because it's neither right nor wrong. Sending you lots of love. Sending you lots of positive energy. Until the next time.